Have you ever made a decision, felt absolutely sure about it, and then later realized it made no sense? You were convinced that a person was definitely wrong. You were certain you remembered something correctly. You were sure your choice was logical. But then, new information appears, and suddenly everything changes. This isn't stupidity. This isn't a flaw. This is how the human brain works. Your mind has built-in tricks, shortcuts, automatic scripts that activate before you even realize it. Today, we'll talk about 5 ways your brain deceives you every single day. Quietly, invisibly, and very convincingly. And most importantly, I'll explain how to notice these tricks and how to protect yourself from them. Take a breath. Let's begin. Imagine this. You scroll through the news. You see a headline that supports what you already believe. Immediately, you agree. You don't question it. You don't check the facts. It just feels right. Now imagine another headline, the opposite viewpoint. Instant resistance, annoyance. You think, this is nonsense. This is confirmation bias. Your brain's tendency to notice only the information that confirms your existing beliefs. Why does it happen? Because for the brain, changing your opinion feels like danger. If you admit you were wrong, it means your worldview isn't stable. And the brain hates instability, so it protects you by filtering reality. A few examples. You think a person is rude, you start noticing only rude moments. You think you're bad at communication. Every awkward interaction feels like proof. You think someone doesn't like you. Every neutral gesture seems like rejection. You're not seeing truth. You're seeing your expectations. How to break this illusion? One simple phrase. What evidence would convince me that I'm wrong? If the answer is nothing, that's not a belief. That's a bias. Another technique. Look for disconfirming evidence on purpose. Your brain won't do it naturally. You have to do it consciously. And when you start doing this, your thinking becomes clearer, your decisions become stronger, and conflicts with people decrease dramatically. Your brain doesn't evaluate reality objectively. It evaluates what's easiest to remember. This is the availability heuristic, the tendency to believe something is common, frequent, or true simply because it comes to mind quickly. For example, you heard about a plane crash. You think flying is dangerous. You saw news about a robbery. You think crime is everywhere. You watched a story about someone becoming rich overnight. You think success happens fast. Not because these events are common, but because your brain recalls them easily. The news, social media, and emotional stories amplify this bias. Your brain equates vivid with real. This is why we overestimate how often bad things happen, how often good things happen to others, how rare or common certain risks are, how soon something might go wrong, a silent psychological trap. How to fix this bias? Ask yourself, is this really common, or is it just emotionally memorable? And the second question, do I believe this because it's true, or because I saw it recently? When you separate emotion from frequency, your view of the world becomes calmer and much more accurate. The brain loves feeling in control, even when there is no control at all. This is the illusion of control. You think you can influence something just because you understand it, or because you want it badly. You think planning every hour of your day guarantees productivity. You think worrying will prepare you for any problem. You think overthinking prevents mistakes. You think you can predict people's behavior because you know them. You think emotional control equals life control. The truth is painful. Most things are outside your control. Other people, their reactions, accidents, weather, opportunities, timing, algorithms, luck. Your brain hates this idea, so it creates illusions. If I plan perfectly, nothing will go wrong. If I'm careful enough, I won't feel pain. If I try harder, I can stop negative outcomes. This is not reality. This is fear disguised as logic. How to break the illusion? 3 steps. First, separate controllable from uncontrollable. Write 2 columns, what I can control and what I can't. It's shockingly freeing. Second, focus on actions, not outcomes. You can choose effort. You can't choose results. Third, accept uncertainty. This is not weakness, it's clarity. Your brain calms down when it stops pretending it controls everything. The anchoring effect is simple. The first piece of information you receive becomes an anchor and influences all later decisions. For example, if the first price you see is $200 and the next is $130, you think it's cheap. Not because $130 is cheap, but because $200 anchored your mind. Anchoring also affects first impressions, expectations in relationships, salary negotiations, self-esteem, your idea of normal, what you consider good enough. Your first reference point becomes your mental standard, even if it's completely random. How to weaken the anchor. Ask, what would I think if I didn't know the first number? Or, what if my first impression was wrong? This breaks the anchor and lets you see the actual situation, not the distorted one. This one is subtle and very human. Self-protective bias means your brain protects your self-esteem, even if it means lying to you a little. Examples: you blame circumstances, not your habits. You call failure bad timing, not lack of preparation. You think someone else misunderstood you, not that your communication was unclear. You convince yourself you don't care when deep down you do. Your brain softens the pain, but it also stops growth. How to overcome it? Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, how am I contributing to this? Not to blame yourself, but to gain power. Responsibility gives control. Blame takes it away. Your brain is not trying to trick you. It's trying to protect you. Every bias is a shortcut, a way to save energy, avoid stress, and keep you safe. But awareness changes everything. Once you start noticing these 5 biases, your decisions become clearer, your reactions become calmer, and your thinking becomes sharper. Your brain stops being your enemy and becomes your partner. Pause, breathe, and remember, every time you choose awareness over autopilot, you rewire your mind. If this resonated with you, subscribe. Here, we explore how the brain works and how to finally become teammates with your own mind. In the next video, why your brain loves self-sabotage and how to stop it.